Hi everyone, hey, hello and welcome to December's Earth Prediction Series reading using the Psi cards and the assistance of collective conscious energies that I tap into from around the globe. And of course the cards give us the insight for the messages that are then received. The cards are sort of like a starting point, if you like. So a little bit of shuffling here for December, the last month of 2017, to see what energies are popping up and what sort of events will be taking place in and across the news sectors of the world. So December 2017, last for the month and last for the year of 2017, taking us into the beginning of 2018. The first card out, the Father card. The second, the Beast. The third, the Liar. The fourth, the Beauty. The fifth, Message. And sixth, the Home card. And on the bottom, the Destruction card. And I don't often turn the deck over, but sometimes the energies are there waiting to be tapped into, and the bottom card of any deck in any reading can be quite relevant. So one more card than usual. We usually sit with the 6 and we've got 7 for the month, but I guess we're spanning ourselves into the horizon of 2018. I look at the first 3 cards up there and I see what I consider the energy of very much political leaders around the globe, and oftentimes people like Kim Jong-un of North Korea. So he's a bit of a liar, he's a beast, and he is the father figure in his nation. So I think, and he creates destruction. So let's start up at the top left anyhow. It is, if you look at that, it's a really busy looking bunch of cards. It feels as though there's a lot of action. Perhaps the only one over here that is lean or light is the Beauty card. The Father, if you've been following the series, often denotes things coming to or pointing from or about space. So this can be technological advances or issues to do with events like that. So putting up rockets into space, finding out more information about satellites or how we're working around technological advances to do with space and our galaxy. The other thing is that he is pointing to the sky, so sometimes that can be that our attention is brought to the sky, meaning things such as meteorites and asteroids could be prominent, or unexpected events in the sky that make us look up as well. It can also mean things falling from the sky, such as satellites or rockets or meteorites. It can also mean plane issues and planes falling from the sky. The other thing, typically it's pretty obvious, the father and the son there, or the child, the man-child that he is teaching, is about war. He's showing him how to be armed and how to shoot a weapon. So this can mean hand-to-hand combat we can see an increase in, but we also see a tendency of warring energies. This can also pertain to terrorism activity. So the Father card is not really that pleasant all round. I don't really like it at all. There's not a lot positive about it, except perhaps for the space exploration and perhaps initiatives in advancement of technology in that arena. We come to the Beast card, and I've already mentioned briefly, it feels of a communist type card. It feels of someone who is a beast, of a person, oftentimes a political leader. This could run up through the Middle Eastern countries as well, so like the Syrian or the Iranian leaders up there are pretty much beasts as well. There is the possibility that you could even associate Putin in it. Some people have even said Trump. I don't know about that. It's I haven't really associated Trump with that particular energy, but there is definitely the feeling of communism because of the red colour in the card, so that also denotes China and North Korea as well. Now it does also indicate issues to do with underground, because that beast appears to be in a tunnel. So the beast is underground, he's in a tunnel, and I have often felt the beast aligns quite well with activity of volcanic movement and things underground, so tunnels, mines, so things like coal mining or people being stuck in mines or being stuck underground. Volcanic activity, that's like a fiery heat rising up to the surface there with that beast energy. So there might be an increase in volcanic activity in December, and we certainly see that the Mount Agung is in the process of erupting at the moment, and it looks as though that will continue to flare up. At least that's what the specialists are sort of saying. We come to the liar card next to the beast, and it gives off the same kind of egotistical energy again of someone who is an out-and-out liar, who's hiding issues from people or political parties or countries or citizens. It's about hidden agenda, it's about fakery, it's about issues that will come to the surface that have been hidden. And we think of the things like the Weinstein saga, the Kevin Spacey saga. I think more of those perhaps will come out as December moves on, and more of these will actually continue to be brought to our attention and unearthed as 2018 moves into the energetic phase as well. The liar also has always to me resonated with shaking, because he's kind of on one foot and he appears to be shaking himself, and he's in a building sort of like a home. So I often say there is shaking in homes when this happens, and quite large quakes I feel when the liar is in the reading. Now he almost has a look of the older part of the globe around him, with that court jester look with the tiled floor. We think of areas like Europe or up through the eastern block of the globe. So this can be in areas up in the northern hemisphere where we might see some quite large shaking going on, and where houses are affected, so possibly people as well in their homes. Damages to homes and people. The beauty card often represents females in the older part of the globe as well, so sometimes England and sometimes even more specifically London, and sometimes it's royalty. So today is the 1st of December, and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry announced their engagement, I think it was 2 days ago, so this card would fit very well with that particular energy. Sometimes though the beauty card also represents other announcements regards female energies in and around Europe, or politicians or movie stars or someone famous, but they can be more negative than the lovely news of a positive happy engagement. It can also represent royalty as well, so we should keep our eyes out for any announcements that would be unexpected to do with royalty, female politicians, especially when we think of Angela Merkel and the issues going on up through Germany. We think of Theresa May and all the problems going on there with her in the UK as well. And we think of the Queen, whether or not there's something going on there, and also possibly pregnancies with this beauty card as well. So keep all of those parameters in mind that I have spoken of, because it could be any one of these synergies or energies. I have found in the past before that we can actually see a famous celebrity or royalty, more often celebrity, who actually ends up passing away very unexpectedly when this beauty card is out. We come down here to the message. It's an interesting card. It can denote a message quite succinctly, and this is usually inter-country, so from one country to another. It's usually at the political level, and it can be, I'm thinking, could be attached to something like these communist parties above it. There is a lot of toing and froing going on at the moment with Kim Jong-un and his bantering about how powerful his country is and how much he wants to dominate the world with his ballistic missile program. So there could be something along those lines. The other thing the message can be is something that we haven't previously been aware of, or it's new information coming in. So this could again refer to galactic or space or technological information. The last and final message of the message card is that it appears to be a fishing net on a boat, and there's all sorts of debris in the net. There's a bottle, there's fish, it's all messy. So it sometimes reminds me of the oceans that what they looked like after the tsunami in Japan in 2011. So this can be an indicator that our seas are mucked up one way or another, either high tidal surges or unusual king tides or high tides, possible earthquakes in the ocean that create tsunami, that's another possibility, or really strong storm surges that really muck up the sea. Now we saw that with the recent cyclones or hurricanes in America when they went through the Florida Keys part area, and some of the water was literally sucked up out of the ocean beds because the storm is sucking up so much fluid to take into its storm cell to then dump down on land somewhere. So it's that type of scenario that can go on as well when this card is out. The home card often represents areas pertaining to somewhere close to where I live, such as New Zealand, or the neighbouring areas like Australia or the Pacific Islands such as Fiji, Tonga, Vanuatu, Niue, Noumea, the Cook Islands, things like that. It can often pertain to earthquakes in these areas or some sort of strong weather system. Now interestingly, Australia right at the moment apparently is due for a very severe storm surge system over in Victoria or New South Wales, I think. And they're saying it could be weather like they have never experienced before. So that might be matching the home card energies. Although I often do feel that quakes are also in the ball game here. And we also see the fire in the background. We've had a couple of cards in this that are talking about fires. We have one there, fires here, and the beast represents fire energy as well. So that's something that we can't dismiss, is the thought of fires globally, whether or not they are bushfires or building fires or fires caused by extreme heat or fires brought on by destruction of some sort. I'm unsure, but they're a possibility as well. So when I flipped over that last card, that bottom card gives off an overall energy perspective of the whole reading. And as I say, not everyone chooses to turn it over, and sometimes it feels irrelevant and other times it seems to be a thing to do. So I chose to do it for this reading. The Destruction card is one of my least favourites for the obvious reasons of its appearance and perhaps what it means. So there's several meanings there, but the first one is warring, and we already had that with the Father card up at the very beginning, so you're getting a double meaning here coming in. So this can be hand-to-hand combat, which is what we see here with these troops, and oftentimes this can mean an increase globally in certain areas, and again this looks like Middle Eastern or European type areas around the world. So whether it's hand-to-hand combating such as ISIS fighting them or up in Syria or Iran, or whether it is more localized terrorist prospects that are happening in perhaps the Northern Hemisphere as well, in the older cities around the globe. Sadly, that's a possibility. We also see here this tower on fire. So again, we've got this talking of buildings being affected, and whether or not it's quakes that affect them that cause fires, or whether they are attacked by something that causes fires, or whether it's a natural phenomena. Any of these possibilities can be emerging here, because we're talking about an entire month. We're also leading ourselves into 2018, and we're also talking about the whole globe, not one specific area. But I have seen in the past, when this card comes out, that towers actually do catch on fire. And a good example of that was some of the Dubai towers that in the past have caught on fire, also some in Russia, when this card is present in a reading. And they were like residential towers, and they weren't terrorist issues, they were just issues with tall buildings on fire. So it's a fairly volatile way to finish off 2017, and I think a lot of astrologers have sort of said the same thing, that there is a lot going on astrologically. We have the Mercury retrograde going on as well. We have quite a tempestuous set of energies rolling in as the year begins, and this certainly seems very earth active. Lots of movement on our earth is the feeling that I'm getting one way or another, with volcanoes and quake type things and weather patterns. So everyone, this sounds as gloomy as anything, doesn't it? But it's just the general energies that are coming in. It's not that this exists. This is reality. This is the current reality that happens. So we work our way through it, and we deal with it as and when it pops up. It's nothing to necessarily panic about, but it is interesting to have the ability or the foresight to key into these energies and see what's going on. Wherever you all are around the world for December, have a good one, have a happy one, celebrate New Year's Eve with positive intentions of taking those forward to 2018. So really wishing you all the very best for December. Have a safe, happy one and a successful, wonderful start to 2018. Thanks for tuning in everyone, and also leaving all your comments and your ideas and thoughts about what you feel the cards mean. So thanks everyone, much love, namaste.